Welcome back, everybody, to Time Out with J and G. I'm Jay over here. That's G over there.
Yo, what's going on, everyone?
And today we are back with our next Saturday episode. And we got a lot to cover today. A lot of stuff happened last night in the NBA. We're covering the championship games this weekend in the NFL and all that. So, I feel like the first thing we got to talk about is we had almost a duplicate of Monday night last night on Friday. We had Luka go for what was it, 73, I believe.
Luka had 73 with 10 rebounds, and then Devin Booker had 62 in a loss.
Which is the same exact thing that happened to Cat. I'm pretty sure Cat had 62 in a loss. It was either 62 or 63 in a loss on Monday night. Which is it's kind of funny how that worked out like twice in the same week. It's kind of crazy.
You know what's even crazier? Obi Toppin hit the game winner for the Pacers.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Obi Toppin. It was a putback. Like he got the offensive rebound and put it back in.
Yep, I believe so.
It was crazy. But I'm gonna start with the Luka game. 73-point game. Almost a triple-double. And honestly, I feel like he should have had a triple-double. I was watching that game. Some of these shots that his teammates were taking and missing were like, it was rough. I've never seen Tim Hardaway Jr. got in his bag last night, and not in a good way. Like, he was trying, but it was just, he wasn't hitting anything. It was rough.
And let's also point out the fact that the Hawks, what was it, at the beginning of the fourth, I think it was, started double teaming Luka practically full court every time.
Yeah, they were not letting him get the ball.
Which, I mean, for winning the game purposes, that's understandable, but also it's kind of just like, I feel like Luka could have got 81. Like, he could have got 80.
I don't see any reason. Yeah, but then again, like you said, their Hawks are trying to win the game, so they're not going to just let Luka drop 80 on them. So I respect them for, I guess, trying. They still did lose the game, but they made it close at the end. There was a lot of bad free throw shooting at the end of the game between both teams, but the Mavericks did pull it out.
Yes, they did. And there was multiple times we were talking about it, and you even pointed out DeJounte Murray was quite literally not even looking at the ball. He was just in Luka's shirt.
Yeah.
He didn't care where the ball was. His job was to basically just stop Luka.
Yeah, they were like, let's say, like, for instance, Dante Exum would be bringing the ball up the court because they would hound Luka, so they'd let Dante Exum bring the ball up the court. And as soon as Dante Exum got to half court, they were like, they were stepping in between him and Luka. They weren't even letting them pass the ball to Luka. And anytime Luka did get the ball, they were sending two bodies. They were blitzing him. It was anytime Luka would run a pick and roll, they didn't give a damn about whoever was rolling. They were blitzing both defenders at Luka.
Which, I mean, it's insane, but I can't fault them for trying. I really can't.
If only they would have had that, the first 2.5, 3 quarters, they might have, maybe won the game and not let them drop 70. But, I don't know. It was kind of poetic with Luka dropping 73 and Devin Booker dropping 62 on the 4-year anniversary of Kobe's passing. Rest in peace to Kobe. And almost a little after 20 years after Kobe's 81-point game.
R.I.P. Black Mamba.
So, yeah, I mean, it sucks he didn't get the 80 because the Hawks were really doing everything in their power to just not let him touch the ball. And he had a few. I remember at one, I think he ran a pick and roll, and he got open down the paint. And I'm pretty sure it was Dante Exum rolled on the other side. Luka dumped him the ball, and he just smoked the layup. I mean, like, it was rough watching that end of the game. Nobody was hitting free throws. Nobody outside of Luka was really hitting any shots. Grant hit a 3. Cool. I mean, you know what I mean? It was just – it seemed like both teams were trying to lose the game in the fourth quarter. It was rough.
And shout out to Trae Young for hitting that big triple towards the end, but it still wasn't enough. But
oh, dude, who was that? Was that Josh Green? I think
it might have been.
I mean, he shook him out of his shoes. He went up with a pump fake. Josh Green launched, like, jumped in the air at it, and Trae Young just took like a sidestep and like he didn't even like shoot it. Well, how do I want to word this? He took a sidestep and the ball was at his side. He just kind of pushed it up and it went in. And I was like, oh yeah. When Trae Young gets into a flow like that, I mean, there's no stopping.
Oh, it's very hard to stop him. Even though he is an undersized guard, he can get into his bag, and when he does, it's insane.
So, I figured we would talk about because we had a video where we tried to predict the All-Star rosters, and now we have the starters, right? I don't think the whole team's right. It's just the starters.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd just go ahead and just see out of the 10 starters how many we got right. Okay.
All right.
So we'll start with the East. Hold on. Okay, we'll start here at the East. The guards are Tyrese Halliburton and Damian Lillard. I had Brunson there instead of Lillard, but I did have Tyrese.
I had both. People are a little mad that Lillard made it over Brunson. But what can you do? You know what I mean?
At
It's
the end of the day, it's a popularity contest. Dame's the bigger name right now, and I feel like he's always going to be. It's Damian Lillard.
yeah.
It's the popularity contest. And then the forwards are Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, and Giannis, which I feel like we had locked in. Those three were going to make it no matter what.
Oh yeah, unless something catastrophic happened, those three were pretty much locks once the season started.
And then the West, I'm pretty sure we both got all these five right. It is Shea and Luka as the guards, which I had them. I'm pretty sure you did too.
Yeah, I think I did. I don't have my book with me right now.
And then the forwards were LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Jokic, which, again, yeah, LeBron was going to get in. LeBron and KD are going to get in off name value. It is what it is.
Oh, yeah, but they're still playing really good basketball, especially with LeBron with how old he is. This is just unprecedented.
Oh, here we go. TNT will announce the reserves as selected by NBA head coaches on Thursday, February 1st, during TNT NBA tip-off. So this coming Thursday, we will find out who the reserves are. I just wanted to, see, because now that the lists have been out, I wanted to put it out there. And we got, you got what, 10 out of 10? Now I got 9 out of 10. So
I believe so.
It's pretty good. I think we called it pretty well.
The big thing is going to be the reserves.
Yeah.
The bench and then the two wild card.
Man, from the things I've been seeing on Twitter now, if Jalen Brunson doesn't get a reserve spot, that Knicks fan base is going to riot. I mean, holy moly! I think he should be there.
Oh yeah,
but you never know. Now, it is the reserves are picked by the coaches, so the coaches I feel like are going to be more in tune to pick the better players over because fans are going to vote who they want in there no matter what, right? But I think with the reserves being mostly coaches picked, I think you're going to get the actual deserving players in there.
Austin Reeves should have been a starter.
Hey man, we need 3 All-Stars for LA on a team under 500 or 500. That's what we need.
It's gonna be interesting, especially since you said the coaches are gonna pick it. I feel like it's gonna be the best players. It's not gonna be no kind of popularity thing or anything like that. It's gonna be these are the best players. These are the players that are getting in.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to hit on anything else basketball that you want to talk about? You want to move into football?
Okay, one more thing. Anfernee Simons. That's how you say his name. I've always screwed up his name trying to say it.
Anfernee. Now you got me screwed up. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I believe he had 40 against the Spurs last night.
Yeah. He had a good game. So you said we mentioned Sohan. Jeremy Sohan had a good game, like what, 31 and 15 or 31 and
14 or something like that. I'm gonna be honest, that was surprising.
I don't know how I'm still not. I am completely out on the idea of him running point guard. I don't like it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think he's a complimentary 3 or 4 to Wemby, but they need a true point guard. And I mean, Jones is doing he's doing as best as he can right now, but you gotta get that upper echelon of point guard into the Spurs.
Maybe it's Trae Young. Maybe it's DeJounte Murray. I don't know.
Who knows?
But was there anything else, or we can hop over into the main topic? It's football, because this week is the NFC and AFC championship game.
And we can hop right over into it. I'm excited.
So what we have, and I believe, let's see, I think both games are tomorrow, aren't they?
Yes,
okay. So the NFC championship game is, what was that?
I believe the AFC game is at 3, and then the NFC game is at 6.
Okay. So in the NFC, we have the San Francisco 49ers, or I'm sorry, we have the Detroit Lions going to Santa Clara to play the San Francisco 49ers. And then in the AFC, we have the Kansas City Chiefs going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. So off top, I want predictions for this game. And I want predictions with score.
Oh, for the Ravens Chiefs game, I think that this is tough. It honestly is. Because even myself, I didn't expect the Chiefs to get this far because of their wide receiving core not being able to catch a pass.
Speaking of, Kadarius Toney, as of right now, the reports are that Kadarius Toney is not playing tomorrow.
No, Chiefs are going to win then.
Yeah, I made that same joke on Twitter.
Realistically, I mean, this is going to be a end of the game-winning touchdown or game-winning field goal.
Okay.
I think Lamar has that dog in him, and I feel like he wants this because I don't think he's been to the AFC Championship game, and I feel like he wants this. He wants to win because everyone has made jokes about him not getting past the divisional round or stuff like that. I think he wants this, and I feel like the Ravens team wants this more. I think the Ravens are going to win off of a 57-yard Justin Tucker field goal.
Okay. What's your score prediction?
38-35.
Oh, okay. I'm also going with the Ravens. I feel like everything's just lining up for them. Mark Andrews is supposed to play. Like, they're just having one of those. This season is just one of them years where everything is lining up perfectly for them, and I don't see it stopping this week. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring. I don't know. I think the Ravens defense is going to create pressure for Mahomes, and it's going to make it tough. I'm saying maybe 28-24 Ravens.
28-24. Okay.
I don't know if both these offenses are very capable of putting up 30-plus points. But it is the playoffs, and sometimes the games, just like NBA, the game slows down, and you got to rely on your running game. And Isaiah Pacheco is good for the Chiefs, but that Ravens running game, they just have they're not. I think Pacheco's going to be the best running back in the game, but the Ravens just have depth at the running back position. And Lamar's just 10 times a runner than Mahomes is. And I think they're just going to be able to control time and possession and just drive down that defense.
Oh, yeah, and I just got to say this about Lamar. I've always been a skeptic of him, but he has proven that he is one of the better passers in the league. I will say that. His game has just went up, in my opinion, and he is playing at a level. I feel like he's playing skill-wise. I feel like he's better than his MVP year.
Well, yeah, it's probably going to be his second MVP year. He's in the finals, and he's probably going to get it.
Oh yeah, probably.
So we'll jump over to the NFC game. Now we have, like I said, the Detroit Lions trying to get to their first ever Super Bowl, going to Santa Clara to play the 49ers, who are trying to win a Super Bowl for the first time since the early 90s. So what do you have in that game?
I feel like some people are going to say it's going to be the 49ers by like 20 or something like that. I feel like it's going to be closer.
Yeah.
And I'm going with the Lions, and I feel like it's going to be the Lions are going to have to put up points to win. That is going to be 100% thing that's going to have to happen. And I believe they have Laporta for the game.
I'll pull that up. But go ahead.
I think they have Laporta, which is going to be a big thing for them. I feel like they win, and it's going to be around the echelon of maybe 42-35, 35-31 in there, somewhere in there. This is going to be a high-scoring game.
So it says here, Sam Laporta has no injury designation for Sunday, so he's going to play. Wow, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I said the same thing with the Ravens. I'm going to say for the Lions here, on the fact that everything is lining up for them perfectly this year. This is a team. This team had hype coming into the season. The Detroit Lions were getting hype as a potential playoff team, right? But now they're looking to go to the Super Bowl, and I almost wonder if everything's lining up perfectly, but I wonder if it's happening too fast for them right now. And it's like they're going to hit this wall against a 49ers team that is just all around a better team. And I think I'm going to have to take the 49ers in this one. I think this is going to be man, I don't know. This one's going to be like 31-28, maybe 35-28. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about this Lions offensive line. I mean, Frank Ragnow is supposed to play, so that'll help them with the interior of their offensive line. But, I mean, this 49er defense is pretty much great throughout the entire defense, all three levels. And I just I trust this offense of the 49ers more than I trust the offense of the Lions. You know, Sam Laporte is good. Amon-Ra St. Brown's good. They've been getting Jameson Williams. Like, they have good players in that offense. But I just look at this team of, like, you know, Brock Purdy is just – he's doing whatever he needs to do. He's not going to blow you away, but he's doing everything he needs to do. Plus, I think it's a little bit of redemption from last year when in the NFC Championship game, he, like, fucking blew out his elbow against the Eagles. And I think he's going to be looking to really showcase himself this year. In the backfield, you got a guy that should be considered for MVP and Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the league and all-around player. You know, you got Deebo Samuel out in the wide. Brandon Ayuk, who's completely broken out into a star receiver himself. You have George Kittle, one of the best receivers or one of the best tight ends in the league. Some people might argue the best in the league. It's okay. And then you have a good offensive lineman, you know, anchored on the left side by one of the best left tackles of all time in Trent Williams. Right now, this 49ers team is just such a well-built team. It would take a complete collapse for them not to win this game. But it's the playoffs, and the Detroit Lions have had this magic all season. So if anybody's going to take them down, it's going to be the Lions.
Well, and let's also not forget what happened last week. Green Bay and the 49ers. Green Bay, if they don't smoke that field goal at the end of the game,
yeah,
we could be looking at a different matchup. You know, we could be in Detroit for this game right now.
We could, but unfortunately it didn't happen. And I think the 49ers were just a little bit slow coming out the gate. They didn't play the week before. They had some injuries. I just think they came out the gate a little bit slow. And I don't know. I just think the Detroit Lions were a great story this year, and I think they're building a genuine culture there where we're not going to see this Lions team have 3-4 wins for a while. They've now cemented themselves as a team fighting for the NFC North every year and fighting for the playoffs every year. So even if you don't make the Super Bowl this year, you've now established a culture with your players and Dan Campbell that, like, you're going to get free agents. You know, obviously you got to draft well, and you have a winning culture now.
Oh yeah, the biggest concern for me for that Detroit Lions team is once Jared Goff retires or once he gets to a certain point, who's going to be that quarterback that comes in?
Yeah, they don't have it on the roster right now.
Some people say that after this year, you start Hendon Hooker in there. Some people are saying you draft someone or get somebody from the outside. That's my biggest concern with this Lions team is once Goff is done or gone or he regresses to that point to where he's not the starter anymore, who's the guy you put in there?
Yeah. Well, let's see here. I'm pulling it up. This is does he 2025? Okay, so he has one more. This next coming season is his last year on his contract, and then he'll be a free agent. He's 30 years old, so he'll be 31 when he's a free agent. At 31, you can still realistically sign Goff to a 3-4 year deal. Now, do you want to? That's a whole different story. It really depends how he plays next season, because, like you said, you might re-sign Goff for a year or two, and have him be a mentor for a guy you draft, right? Or like Jared Goff's one of these quarterbacks that, like, we've seen. He went to the Super Bowl with the Rams years ago. Like, he is good enough that he's not going to lose you these games, right? Obviously, they didn't win the Super Bowl, right? But like, he's a quarterback that you can go to the Super Bowl with. He's going to not lose you these games most of the time. Yeah, sometimes, but like, I don't think you have to worry about a Goff regression or like a Goff retiree for another 5-6 years. Really, I mean, genuinely, like, because he's not an upper echelon quarterback. It's not like he's a superstar quarterback. You have to wonder, like, oh, is he going to be a superstar next year? No, like you just have to wonder, is he going to be good? Is he going to be good enough to just like win games? And I think that's why like a guy like him can play well into his mid-30s because it's like he's not out there carrying his team on his back.
Yeah, that's understandable. But the big question is because if you look at this team, they have good young talent.
Yeah.
And do you want to get a young quarterback in to then take the reins or maybe sit a year behind Goff, then take the reins? Or do you want to do something like that to get youth at the quarterback position so you can extend this? You can extend this a little bit
Extend your
longer
window.
than with
You can,
Goff.
yeah, you
You
can
can open up
extend your
that window even bigger.
Yeah, and which I think they're going to do. Like, I don't think there's any way within the next 2 years they don't draft a quarterback. But I think you can get away with getting Goff an extension because he's not going to command the amount of money that he got from the Rams because his cap is $31 million now. You're not. He's not going to get this extension. I don't believe so. At least he might for some reason, but I don't believe he's going to get as much money. Right, so that's going to allow you to draft a guy in 2 years, and you don't even have to be a top. Like, you can wait until the second, third round now because, like, you know what? We have Jared Goff. If this young guy can come in here and develop, we want him to be our future franchise, but we don't have to wager a top 10 pick on a quarterback.
Yeah, and also I do believe in this past draft they did draft a quarterback. I think third round, fourth round.
Did they? Let me pull it up.
I think it was Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Was that? I thought that was the year before. Maybe. Hold on, let me go ahead and move on to the next part. I'll look up here.
Yeah, because last year.
Oh, it was Hendon Hooker. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep, third round.
Because he was recovering from his ACL tear, I think, this year.
I don't know. I don't.
He's a little old. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's 25.
Hendon Hooker.
He's 20. I think he's 25, maybe
26.
26. I mean, a little older, but he's still 4 years younger than Goff. But
yeah, I mean, we didn't really get to see him play at all, so I don't think you really know what you have in him yet. And I don't know. I don't have the trust in him yet, and maybe the Lions do. I don't know what their plans are for Hendon Hooker, but like, I don't know if they trust, like, okay, this is the guy we're going to groom behind Jared Goff to give the reins to. Because like you said, he's 26. By the time he's ready to take the reins, he could be 28, 29. It's like, damn, now we're basically in the same situation as we were with Goff.
Yeah.
So, Hendon Hooker being 26 is genuinely just hurting him a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, it just – and the other thing that definitely hurt him this season was when he tore his ACL against South Carolina last year.
Yeah.
That really ruined it because if he doesn't get injured against South Carolina, he then plays, I think, against Vanderbilt, and then he goes to the bowl game. And then he's probably drafted higher. He's Heisman contention. But it was just tearing that ACL and having to take almost practically an entire year off to rehab it and get back to where he needed to be.
Yeah.
Really, really hurt him.
I agree to a degree. I agree to a certain degree. I think him being an older quarterback was always going to hurt his stock. I mean, you look at a guy like Stetson Bennett who won multiple championships with Georgia, but he's same like 25, 26 coming out. Like, I just think there's a certain age where it's like, how much are we really trusting this guy with our future?
Yeah.
But so what are like? How would I want to word like? Okay, so we both have, or I'm sorry, we both have the Ravens advancing, and then I have the 49ers and you have the Lions.
Yep.
What do you think is? We're gonna go for. I guess we'll do each team and see how it makes it. What is the best and worst case scenario for each team? So like, well, I'll start here. The worst case scenario for the Ravens, obviously, is like losing in a championship game, right? But I mean, for them, it would be facing the 49ers. I think facing the 49ers is the last thing they want to do with how good that defense is.
Oh, yeah, that's understandable. I mean, hell, I think they traded for Chase Young and only gave up a second round pick.
It wasn't much.
It was like a third or second round pick. I mean, you get someone like Chase Young for that, and you pair him with Nick Bosa. I mean, and I know they have a dog on the interior, and then you look at that linebacking core. I mean, it's unfair. I'm gonna be honest, it's unfair. They're just that good.
You know what's upsetting me is that I go on Twitter, and right, and Twitter's not a great place to like get accurate information. Obviously, there are a insane amount of 49ers fans that believe they are the underdogs against the Lions.
I don't know how you could think that. I really don't, unless there's a local media going around saying that, and that's the only media that they look at.
Because yeah, I mean, even betting favorites, they're a touchdown favorite against the Lions. And I saw one, and this guy put out a tweet saying like, "Oh, we're underdogs again. Let's rewrite history." And I'm like, "What?" So I click on the tweet that he quoted. The quoted tweet was Deshaun Jackson picking the Lions to win. So this guy believes the 49ers are underdogs because a former player picks the Lions. And I feel like at this point, 49er fans are looking to be the underdogs. They want to be the underdogs because that way they know that they're probably the best team in the league. Well, they're definitely the best team in the NFC, but maybe the best team in the league. They want to have excuses lined up for if they blow this game.
Yeah.
They're going to blow this game, and they're going to come online and be like, oh, like, look, all these people were picking the Lions. All these people were picking the Lions. We were the underdogs. Us losing actually isn't that big of a deal. We were underdogs anyway. When Vegas has you as a touchdown favorite, quite a bit. That's quite a bit of on a betting line. Is usually, it's not that high. So, I don't know. 49er fans, any fan base can be like this, but 49er fans, they're looking for excuses for if they blow the game. And I genuinely, I think that's what it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just pure insanity that you go through the entire year. You have, I believe they had the best record, if not the second best record in the NFL. You go through the entire season doing all this. You're beating teams by a good bit, and comes playoff time, and then now you want to act like you are the underdog and everything. No.
They were doing that for the Packers game too.
The Packers were the 7th seed, I think.
Yeah, the Packers were a 7th seed. They upset Dallas as the 2 seed. They had a great wild card game, but like, I don't think there was ever been an instance in history where a 7 seed is favored over a 1 seed.
No, I don't. The only way that would have happened is if Purdy, Debo, basically all their starters on the offensive side didn't play.
Yeah.
That's about the only scenario I can think of that the Packers. Now this is no deflaming the Packers or anything, because that team is young and it's on the come up. But this 49ers team is just that good.
Like I said, they're the best team in the NFC, and they might be the best team in the league.
Oh yeah,
they're that good of a team. But let's go back to like I said, I said for the Ravens that playing the 49ers would be their worst case scenario. What do you think is the worst case scenario for the Ravens?
The worst playing or just the game in general?
Take it how you will.
It's gonna be Lamar Jackson turning the ball over.
Okay.
I'm not meaning interception wise, because he has protected the ball this year good. It's when he gets out and starts running, because we all know that he fumbles, and when he starts fumbling a good bit. That's going to be the big thing, is if Lamar can take care of the football through the air and especially running.
Yeah.
If he does that, the Ravens have a very good chance to win the game. I will say that. If he protects the football and he plays like he knows how and how he's been playing the entire year, they have a really good shot to not only win the AFC Championship, but to win the Super Bowl. But all it takes is just 2 fumbles, and that can change the entire aspect of the game.
I agree. So let's move on to their opponent, the Chiefs. I think the worst case scenario is their defense not being able to stop Lamar Jackson, right? Because obviously we know their deficiencies at the wide receiver core, They have Travis Kelce, he's still great, but he kind of took a step back this year. He had some crucial drops, some stuff like that. But he is like 34. If they cannot, I have two different things for the Chiefs. That Chiefs defense needs to key in on Lamar quick. They need to force Lamar to have turnovers, right? They need to stop possessions. The second part is the Chiefs need that running game. If they don't have a running game and they're forced to pass the ball, they're going to have a hard time. That Ravens have a good defense too. We cannot sleep on that Ravens defense. They're a very good defense. And I just think your two things are keep the ball out of Lamar Jackson's hands and doing that like by running, having time of possession. And two is containing Lamar Jackson. Now, obviously it's like, oh, well, the best way to beat Lamar is to make him stay in the pocket and throw. That's not really working either because Lamar's became one of the best pocket passers in the league recently, right? But I still think if there is a way, it is to force him into the pocket, right? He's one of the best, if not the greatest, running quarterbacks of all time. You still might lose the game if he sits in the pocket and dices you up, but I think you're going to have a better chance.
Oh, yeah. For me, it's Kadarius Toney. Now let me stop.
He's not even – oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Nah, Kadarius Toney has cost them a couple of crucial games. But anyways, I don't know. It is the defense stopping Lamar. That's with every game. But their worst fear is if they can't get the passing game going. And what I mean by that is outside of Kelce.
Yeah.
Pacheco, if they cannot get their wide receivers open and throw to their wide receivers, it's going to be a long day. Because there have been multiple games this season to where Mahomes has passed for X amount of times, completed the ball X amount of times. But most of them have either been to running backs or tight ends.
Yeah.
His wide receivers have not we're not used to seeing these type of wide receivers with Mahomes because he had Tyreek for how many years?
They need Rashee Rice to really have a great – he's been great this year, and they need him to continue that. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't, but they need him to take over as their true number one right now.
He's got to go ball out. He's got to make contested catches. He's got to get open. That's no doubt about it. It's that Ravens defense is just very good. Very, very good. And especially with the way that they blitz, they got to be able to pick up the blitz. No doubt about it.
Okay, so we'll jump over to the NFC then, and we'll go the Detroit Lions first. I think their worst case scenario is falling behind quick, like falling behind early. If their defense goes out there and gives up 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives, this Lions team is almost cooked. I mean, I like I said, they have some players in their offense, but I don't think they can keep up with this firepower of the 49ers offense against the 49ers defense. If they have to go blow for blow with them, and if they fall behind, like I said, the 49ers get the ball, score touchdown, Lions come out, punt the ball, 49ers go get another touchdown, this game is going to be real hard for the Lions to get back into. I think they need to either they get the ball first and they go down and score right away, they get up 7-0, or like I said, every time the 49ers they get in, boom, you have to answer. You cannot be trading touchdowns for punts or touchdowns for field goals.
Oh no, you can't. Like you said, with how this 49er offense is built. For me, it's turnovers for both teams. For the 49ers, it's turnovers. You have to be able to limit turnovers. And you got to limit punting the ball. You got to score. Whether it's field goals or touchdowns, you have to continually put points on the board because this Lions offense, in my opinion, is sneaky. They can put up points if given the opportunity. You don't want to give them that opportunity.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be a dogfight for the Lions, but if they can get through it, they deserve it. So, okay, so then we'll go to the 49ers. And for me, the worst case scenario for them is just being lazy or being unprepared, I should say. By all intents and purposes, they should walk into this game, beat the Lions, and go to the Super Bowl. It's laid out there for them. I think the only way that doesn't happen is if they walk in there knowing that and being overly confident and just not prepared, and they get hit right away. Kind of like the Packers did it to Dallas early in the playoffs. You come into this game, you're not prepared, and the underdog is going to come in and hit you because the Lions are going to fight. That's what their culture is. They're the underdog. They're going to come out there and they're going to fight you tooth and nail. And if you're the 49ers and you come into this game soft and not really ready for it, the Lions are going to punch you in the mouth. And honestly, like you said, it only takes 2 scores for this game to be almost over. And once you're in a game, if the Lions come out and punch the 49ers in the mouth because the 49ers are not prepared, once you're in the game, it is now insanely tough for these 49ers to get back into the zone and beat. It could be one of those things where it's at halftime, it could be 24-7 and the Lions are up because the 49ers are just not prepared. And it doesn't matter what happens that second half because the Lions are up 17 points.
Oh, yeah. It's just – there's just so many what ifs that can happen. And until we actually watch the game and see how it goes through, everyone's just going to be here speculating on this and that. But it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, that, like you said, that is literally what the Lions are about. That is what their head coach, Dan Campbell, is about. Shout out to Dan Campbell. He's done wonders for this Lions team.
Yeah, just laugh the Cowboys about that missed call, man. We don't care anymore.
I mean, I can understand with that. Going through that week, I can understand the jokes, but it's been what?
It's been 3-4 weeks now.
It's been a month.
Game's over. Dallas lost. You guys are in it.
Let it go.
Move on from it.
I like the Lions, but come on, you let it go. Let it go. I mean, but going back to what we were talking about, the worst thing for the 49ers is stagnant offense and turnovers.
Yeah.
Because, we can say Brock Purdy's been in this situation before last year, but Goff has more experience. Let's just be honest. It's just one of the main factors of this game. Goff has experience in the playoffs. He made it to the Super Bowl.
That's true, yeah.
This is what, Purdy's second or third year?
Second?
Second?
Yeah, second, I believe.
Second. He doesn't have the experience. You can say, yes, he did make the NFC Championship game, and there are speculations where if he doesn't get injured, the 49ers beat the Eagles, whatever you want to talk about. But it just comes down to the fact that Goff has experience in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
With the Rams, didn't he make the NFC Championship a couple times? Or got close to it?
It might have been 2, I think. I'll double check that.
But Goff's been in the league for how many years now? He's got the experience. He might not have the better team, but I feel like it also comes down to experience, especially with the quarterback position. If you don't have the experience and need, because this is a big-time game for both teams.
Yeah.
No way to spin it. NFC Championship game is on the line. Bid to the Super Bowl is on the line. This is big time. This is quote-unquote nut up or shut up.
Nope, it was only the one time against the Saints in 2019. That's the only NFC Championship game he has. Oh, because that was the year, I don't know if you remember, where the Saints were driving the ball down the field and Drew Brees threw that wheel route and the Rams corner laid out the receiver before the ball even got there and they didn't throw a flag.
Yep, I remember that because then the next year is when we got you can throw the challenge flag on pass interference calls, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the year or two after, yeah.
That's insane, but still, I mean, Goff has been in this situation before.
Mm-hmm.
He might not have faced as good of a defense as he's now, but he still has the experience and he has all the knowledge from how many years has he been in the league? 6, 7?
It's been, was it 2016? I'm pretty sure is when he was drafted. I'm pretty sure he was the first overall pick in 2016. First overall pick in 2016.
Yeah, so he's got the experience. It's just, like I said, it's just going to come down to turnovers, stagnant offense, and experience. Those are the 3 factors for the 49ers. You cannot get stagnant. You cannot turn the ball over. And you got to be able to put your inexperienced quarterback in these situations. And in this game, you got to put him in a good spot to be successful.
I agree. So is there anything you want to talk about with that championship game?
part of with the NFC Championship game.
Either one of the two, yeah. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
They're both going to be dogfights. They're both. I feel like if the Lions come out ready to play, both games are going to be within a touchdown.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think the Ravens are going to beat the Chiefs on a 57-yard field goal by Justin Tucker with time dwindling. That's my call. I'm calling that. That's my shot. And also, Brock Purdy better watch out for Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton's getting a pick 6 in this game. I'm calling it.
All right. So I have the list of the NFL Honors Awards, right? You got your big ones. I'm just going to name the award, and we're going to name who we think is who won the award. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll start. I'm not going to do Walter Payton Man of the Year because I'm not really sure who's up for that one. We'll start with the AP Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you have as your Defensive Player of the Year?
TJ Watt.
Okay.
I mean, you can call me a homer because I'm a Steeler, but if you line up, let's just put up the big three that are out there: Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and TJ Watt. TJ Watt, I believe, has better stats than both of them. Now, the only thing you could say is that he was not on as good of a team as both of them, but TJ Watt is the dog. And if I couldn't give it to TJ, I would give it to Micah Parsons.
Okay. Honestly, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I think I'm going to be easy. I think I'm going to go with the betting favorite. I'm going to go with my Myles Garrett. I guess you could say the same thing about TJ Watt. Just the absolute heart and soul of that defense. He's the most dominant pass rusher in the league, I think, and he's good against the run. He is willing the Browns to a top defense and a team that they needed their defense to win these games. I don't know. I think all three of these guys deserve it between TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, and Micah Parsons. Micah, I know firsthand as a Cowboys fan, he kind of, as the season drew towards the close, he kind of was having a hard time getting to the quarterback. Part of that is because he went, 8 to 10 weeks without getting a holding call, which was kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But you can't bank on getting a holding call, right? So that's why I kind of I don't know. I think mine's Myles Garrett, but I can't really be upset at any of them. So then we have one here is the AP Offensive Player of the Year.
See, this one's tough because at this point, let's be honest, the MVP is a quarterback award. We can just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But the Offensive Player of the Year is usually a running back or a wide receiver, and I think this year it comes down to three people, in my opinion. That's Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Those are my top three. If I had to give it to one, it would probably be either Christian McCaffrey or CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
Those are my 1 and 2. Those are interchangeable, and then 3 is Tyreek Hill.
Okay. So I guess I'm taking a little bit of a homer pick here too. I am going with CeeDee Lamb. Him and Tyreek, I think, all three of these guys are fantastic. CeeDee Lamb led the NFL in catches. He was second at receiving yards, only 50 behind Tyreek Hill. He had 12 touchdowns. He had 29 catches of 20-plus yards or more, 3 of 40-plus or more, and he had that 92-yard touchdown a couple weeks ago. The thing about CeeDee Lamb that I love, especially as a Cowboys fan, is his ability to play both inside and outside. I know there's the jokes that he's slot boy, blah, blah, blah. People that say that, they don't really watch the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys. People hate them on Twitter. You follow narratives, right? And I think he played 50-some% of his snaps in the slot and the 40-some% on the out wide, right? So he's almost pretty evenly playing inside and outside. And if you ask me, I think that just shows his versatility, right? You have some great receivers in the league like A.J. Brown DeAndre Hopkins, guys like these that are like fantastic receivers, but they're your X. They are sitting out wide all the time. Somebody like CeeDee Lamb, you can game plan to have him out wide, in the slot, in the backfield, getting carries like he has a few times this year. Like he's the all him and I get like I said, all three of these guys are, but CeeDee Lamb's like an ultimate offensive weapon. It doesn't matter where you put him, he is gonna get the ball. He did have a couple really strange drops this year that might hurt his case, like the actual case for him. But I don't know. I think he was the engine to keep that Cowboys offense running. So I'm giving it to CeeDee Lamb. I think the Cowboys need at least one award for being as good as they were this year.
Oh yeah, that's totally understandable and respectable. CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion, should have had the Triple Crown. I feel like he should have got it.
There was probably 5 games this season where Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Tony Pollard barely played the fourth quarter because we were blowing teams out. He could have had 1,900 yards if he would have played full games.
Oh yeah. I kind of wish I would have seen it, because then we would have had 2 Triple Crown winners in the past 3 years.
Cooper Kupp. Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen it. It's sad that it didn't happen, but I can totally understand why he is your offensive player of the year.
All right, so we're going to do this. I know this one's going to be controversial. So for this one, I'm going to give 2 picks, and maybe you should if you want to as well. Unless it's the same player for both. It could be. We have the AP Comeback Player of the Year. So I'm going to say they're going to give this award to Damar Hamlin. There's no way around it. It's with the storylines. And I can't be too mad at it because he did technically die. Like, he was dead for like 5 minutes on the field and was revived and came back and played this year. He didn't play much, but he played this year. So the NFL is going to take that because it's such a feel-good story, and they're going to make him a Comeback Player of the Year, and I can't be upset about that. But who I think should genuinely win it is Baker Mayfield.
Ooh, Baker.
It's between Baker, Joe Flacco, and I think Baker played the whole season and played better than Joe Flacco, honestly.
I mean, I can understand that. For me, it's Damar Hamlin and Joe Flacco. The reason for Joe Flacco is that man was sitting on his couch watching NFL games most of the year, maybe throwing the football occasionally and not even seriously.
Yeah.
And then he just comes out and then leads these Browns into the playoffs on 11-6 record.
Yes, yeah.
But I can't be mad. I can't be mad, and I understand your Baker pick because he did get them to the playoffs and he did beat the Eagles. I mean, and the narrative around Baker, I feel like, is very flawed because in my personal opinion, I think was it Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah.
Cleveland head coach. I feel like he intentionally sabotaged Baker's career because he did not like Baker.
It's maybe possible, but I don't know. I mean, Baker came back dude was on the Panthers last year. I think that's about just as bad as being dead on the field. So, I don't know. But I mean, even like the thing about Joe Flacco that I think is it was a great storyline the way he was able to come in and win the game. This dude played 6 regular season games and threw 8 picks in 6 games. He was turning the ball over a lot. Where Baker had he played the entire season and had 10. You know, Joe Flacco was a good story, but he was, I mean, even in the playoff, like he's turning the ball over a lot. And plus, I think when you look at a guy that played 6 games versus a guy that played the entire season, you know what I mean? I think you just have to give it to the guy that was the better quarterback the entire season versus having a miracle run towards the end of the season.
But like we say, it's always the narrative.
It is 100%.
It's always the narrative because you're not gonna see too many people have that take about Baker for a Comeback Player of the Year. You're not gonna see it, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think people are waking up to it. He's not going to win. Like I said, they're going to give it to Damar Hamlin.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, think Baker deserves. And I was a guy that coming out of college, I was not a fan of Baker, for like off field or like antics. As a player, he's always been good, but like I wasn't a fan of him. But like I don't know, I really took a liking to him.
Oh yeah, and I didn't really care for Baker for even when he did get to the Browns. he was a good quarterback. I don't know. There's just something about him. But I don't know. He's playing good, and I honestly, if he stays with the Bucks, I can't wait to see what they do next year.
All right, so now let me pull this back up here. So now our next award is there's two more. We have the AP Coach of the Year. I think is going to be Dan Campbell.
Oh my, yeah, 100%. I was gonna make the joke that it should be Mike Tomlin. He 17 consecutive seasons he willed this team.
Yeah.
But it's Dan Campbell.
John Harbaugh might get consideration too for the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. You know who in my opinion should get very much consideration for this? I think it's DeMeco Ryans for the Texans.
Did they already announce this? Hold on.
Oh, they did?
DeMeco Ryans of the Houston Texans has been chosen as the NFL Coach of the Year by the 2023 season by the Pro Football. Oh, okay. I think this is I don't think this is the AP one. This is the. Okay, I think this is just somebody else that put it out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's between Dan Campbell and Ryans. I mean, if you look at that Texans team from last year and you look at them now, it looks like a completely different team with the way they play.
I agree.
And then to win the division and then win a playoff game with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. I think that's the first time it happened since 2012. But I could be wrong.
Well, like I said, they were a team that last year were, I think, 3-13-1. And people were clowning on them for getting CJ Stroud. They thought Bryce, and again, this is after only their rookie season, so we can't, but like, they're like, oh my God, like, you guys missed out on Bryce Young. The Panthers have Bryce Young. You guys, like, there's always questions with Ohio State quarterbacks coming out of the draft. Like, usually they just don't pan out. And again, it's only after one season, but CJ Stroud has looked like the better pick. The Texans have a better roster than the Panthers do. But they're a team that went from 3-13-1 to 10-7, right? And a lot of that rides on CJ Stroud. And I think a lot of that could come down to coaching too. I mean, like, obviously he didn't pick CJ Stroud in the draft, right? But like, this is a team that had a 7-win improvement, made the playoffs, won they beat the
Browns.
The Browns, that's right. Yeah. So like, like I said, it's gonna be between DeMeco Ryans and Dan Campbell, I believe. And like I said, John Harbaugh is gonna get considerations for being like the 1 seed and just stuff like that. So I don't know. I think I have Dan Campbell, but DeMeco Ryans has probably just about as good as the case.
And back to your other point with Ohio State quarterbacks not panning out. Alabama quarterbacks have not panned out. Let's be honest.
That's very true.
Until recently, with Tua, and you could argue Mac Jones, but even then, that's a stretch.
Jalen Hurts too, kind of.
I identify him with Oklahoma.
That's fair.
People say, "Oh well, Alabama." I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure Alabama says, "Well, we claim Jalen Hurts too." No, Jalen Hurts went to Oklahoma and he graduated from Oklahoma. Oklahoma claims Jalen Hurts.
That's fair.
Tua is pretty much, for I don't know how many years, one of the only successful Alabama quarterbacks, and I could be missing someone from like the 70s or 80s or something like that.
All right, yeah.
But for the predominant of my lifetime watching football, this is the first time of really seeing an Alabama quarterback make it to the playoffs and have a good season.
Yeah.
This is like the first time in forever. Now, I'm not saying that Bryce Young's going to be a bust. I'm not saying that he's going to be one of the greatest of all time, but we just have to wait and see because you never know what could happen.
All right. So then I think we should get to let me see if I can pull it back up here. What I was looking for. We're going to talk about the NFL MVP and who we believe is the MVP.
Are we gonna do the offensive and defensive rookie of the year?
Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's do that. Let's do offensive rookie of the year first.
I mean, unless I'm forgetting somebody, C.J. Stroud or Puka Nacua.
There's going to be the two. Yeah, it's going to be between the two of them to win it.
In my opinion, I give the nod to C.J. Stroud because he quarterbacked a Texans team that had a 7-win improvement from last season. Had a good touchdown to interception ratio, and won the division and won a playoff game.
I don't know if people remember, C.J. Stroud was in legitimate MVP talks for a few weeks this year. I mean, it was a lot of like early optimism stuff, but he had 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks. He did miss a couple games throughout the season, but yeah, no, I think Puka had a fantastic year. I think any other year Puka wins this award, but we know how quarterback is the hardest position to learn and play in the NFL and to make the jump. So the fact he was able to take a 3-win, basically the second worst team in the league last year, and make them a playoff team and a playoff victory, there's just it's nobody else that's going to go to. You know, I know people have been talking about co-awards. I don't like the idea of co-awards. I understand Puka deserves his recognition, but I think they need to pick that guy. And I think it's going to be C.J. Stroud.
Oh yeah, like I said, unless I'm forgetting somebody, it's going to be those two. They're going to be 1 and 2. However you view it and however you see it, it's 1 and 2, no doubt about it.
So for defensive rookie of the year, who are you looking at?
See, I'm going to let you take the reins on this because I don't really know a whole lot of rookies on the defensive side of the ball. The only real one that I know is Byron Young, and I know that he is not going to win it. Let's be honest.
You have one on your team.
Oh yeah, Joey Porter Jr. That's right.
This man's a casual. No,
Joey Porter Jr. is playing so good. I thought he was, like a 3rd-year vet.
That's my man out of Penn State. But I think I'm going to go Jalen Carter. I think you make a case for Will Anderson from the Texans as well. Joey Porter Jr. from the Steelers as well. I don't know. He had 6 sacks this year. He's a rookie defensive tackle, right? He's not gonna put up a lot of sack numbers. It's just not how it's not how it works. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to pass rushers, get so enthralled with sack numbers that they don't look behind the numbers of this. Right? So this is one of the few gripes I kind of have with T.J. Watt, and I know you won't like to hear this. T.J. Watt benefits from coverage sacks a lot, right? But that's not his fault, right? That's not anything to put him down. But it's like, I think there's a difference when you're looking at a guy that is forcing his way to the quarterback versus a guy that is just getting to the quarterback because he has so much time to. And I think Jalen Carter has been really good as, like I said, in his limited amount of snaps, been good as a pass rusher, decent against the run, not fantastic against the run. And I don't know. I just think he is my defensive rookie of the year.
That's understandable. That is very much so. I mean, he's had a good year for the snaps that he has played because he is playing behind Fletcher Cox.
Yeah.
But I mean, since you brought it up, I mean, Joey Porter Jr., he got to a certain point in the season, I believe, to where he was just like, I want the number 1 guy. And let's be honest, he was locking up some people for a good bit.
He was.
And I don't know if it's true or not. It's hearsay. But apparently when the Steelers played the Ravens for the first time and Joey Porter Jr. had that pick on Lamar in the end zone, he looked at Odell and said, go be with your kids. Retire and go be a father.
Yeah, you never know if that stuff's real or not.
I mean, if it's fake, so be it. But if it was real, I mean, you got to have some cojones to say that to OBJ. Let's be honest.
So I'll pull up here the finalists. They named the finalists for the award, and you have Jalen Carter, Will Anderson from the Texans, the edge rusher, Joey Porter Jr., Devon Witherspoon, the corner from the Seahawks, and Kobe Turner, the D tackle for the Rams. This is one of them years where I don't know if it's like a runaway. There's been years past where it's like it's by far Micah. It's by far Myles Garrett. It's by far, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I don't know if this year's one of those years, but yeah, I'm gonna go Jalen Carter. Sorry.
Oh no, I can't fault you for that. I feel like you said, it's gonna be the top three. It's gonna be one of the top three, and I'm a homer. I'm gonna say Joey Porter Jr. because he was one of the few bright spots at that cornerback position that we've had.
For sure.
Uh,
So, okay.
There was a lot of hype with Patrick Peterson, but he's just getting he's getting old. But yeah, he's been one of the bright spots on that defensive backside for the Steelers.
All right, I'm trying to see if I could pull out the. So the last one we're going to do is the MVP. So basically, off top, I'm kind of finding the actual list, but I'm having a hard time for some reason. I know you got Lamar, Josh Allen, Dak,
CMC,
and I think there's one more, but I don't remember who it is. But who is your 2023, 2024 NFL MVP?
Oh, it's got to be the boy Dak Prescott.
Oh, I wish.
No, it's gonna, in my opinion, it's gonna be Lamar.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be Lamar, and I feel like at the 2 spot it should be CMC. But you know how the NFL and the voters for the awards, they love their quarterbacks. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
they love their quarterbacks.
Yeah. I you know, I know we were talking about it the other night. Dak, for a couple of weeks, Dak was the favorite, the odds-on favorite. Oh, Brock Purdy's the other guy. I don't know how I forgot that. But Dak was the odds-on favorite for a couple of weeks. So the NFL MVP is a regular season award. It is not a playoff award. It is a regular season award. Dak led the NFL in passing touchdowns. He cut down his turnovers. He led Dallas to a 2 seed at 12-5. But they got their ass handed to him in the playoffs, so he's not going to get the award, even though it is a regular season award.
Oh yeah, that's understandable. Another person that I feel like should be up for it because of the season he had on the defensive side of the ball, and he's not even up for a DPOY, is Darren Bland. You're telling me a guy that broke the record for most pick sixes? Deron Bland, sorry. You're telling me the guy that broke the record or tied the record for the most pick sixes in a season?
Yeah, he broke it. Yep.
And he still got what, like 8 or 9 picks at this year too?
Yeah, and so I think, and I didn't want this to turn into like a Cowboys thing, but like people have a very, very bad like what's the word? Hey, I'm gonna pull it up here, but like they think Deron Bland was doing the same thing that Trayvon Diggs was a couple years ago. Because like a couple years ago, Trayvon had those 11 picks, but he was basically like pick or get burnt. So the fact that now Deron Bland this year is having a lot of picks, people in their mind are like, oh, he must just be getting burnt, right? Because he did get burnt that Seattle game. DK Metcalf gave him a lot of problems. But obviously, you know, PFF has their things they're good at and things they don't. You know, they're not the most reliable. Deron Bland was rated as the 3rd best cover corner in the NFL with a grade of 90.3.
I mean, I can't even fathom. Isn't he like younger too, like first year in the league or something like that? Second year in the league. 3rd best PFF rating. Now, obviously PFF. It's PFF.
Yeah, it's not the most reliable, but it's grading you out. Like, listen, I don't think he's the 3rd best corner in the league. I'm not saying that by any means, but all I'm doing is using his cover grade to show that he's not getting. Like I said, DK Metcalf burnt him. That was very apparent. It happened. But other than that, he was not getting burnt. He was playing very good coverage. And like I said, I'm not using it to be like, oh, he's the 3rd best cover corner, so he is the 3rd best corner. No, I'm just saying, please. And I know they don't, but please watch games, man. I hate people that go online and get their opinions online and they just spread. Like, people will they won't watch a Cowboys game all season, but they'll go onto Twitter and see somebody say, "Oh, Deron Bland just got burnt," and now in their head they're like, "Oh, he gets burnt all the time," and then they'll turn around and they'll start spreading that information, and it's like, no, it's not true. If you want to know what's happening in the league and what's happening to these players, watch a game. If he gets burnt on a play, it happens. But to act like because he got burnt one game, he gets burnt all other 16 games is just it's stupid.
Another thing is you can watch the games, and if you don't watch the games, at least go in and look at the stats. You know what I mean? How many catches is he giving up? How many yards did he give up? How many yards after the catch did he give up? Use your resources at hand.
And I hate when people are like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like say I don't know, I'm trying to think of like oh, my TV just turned off. Say a star receiver goes up against a star corner. And we'll use Tyreek Hill and Jair Alexander, for example, okay? And Tyreek Hill will finish the game with 13 catches for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. People are going to go online and be like, oh, my God, Jair got burnt. He gave up all of the Tyreek Hill. Then you go watch the game, and out of those 13 catches, Jair gave up 2 catches for like 30 yards. And you know what I mean? That was all that he was responsible for. But people are going to go see what Tyreek Hill had and be like, oh, he must have had all that on Jair Alexander. You know, like, you can't just, and that's like looking at stats and like coverage grade and shit like that can be a good step, but you still need to know the context behind these stats.
Hey, that's why I said, like, how many catches did that specific corner give up? Don't just look at it from a whole perspective because you don't know what defensive coverage they're running. You don't know if they're in zone, who has who on man coverage because it can switch depending on what the offense comes out in.
You know what I mean? And that goes with any team. Like, please, if you really want to understand what's happening, watch the games. Listen, you don't pay for cable. There's plenty of sites you can watch these games on for free that are, you know what I mean? I'm not endorsing that. But there's ways you can watch these games so you don't have to have fake Twitter beliefs, right? Now, there's people that I follow on Twitter that I know watch 10 times the amount of basketball games that I do. So I can go listen to what they say and be like, okay, they probably have a good idea what they're talking about. But these are people that I know watching. I'm not going to follow, like Kenny, you know, Kenny Beecham. I know it's his job. He watches 10 times more basketball than I do. So if I see him make a take, I'm going to take what he said and be like, okay, he's probably right. Let me go watch that. And yet, okay, he's right. So I can trust what he says. But if some random troll account that's like, oh, Chiefs fan 124 is talking about how the Chiefs are the best team at this, blah, 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 he's probably just being a little bit biased, right? So it's like you got to realize who's talking and what they're saying. You can't just, it's an age-old thing. You can't believe what you see on the internet.
Oh, yeah. It can be misconstrued a hell of a lot, but back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, sorry, that was a tangent. I just had to get off my chest there.
Oh, yeah, you're good. You're good. But yeah, Bland, I feel like he should be higher up on the DPOY ladder. I feel like he should have at least a little bit of talk for MVP because of the season he had. But obviously, it's an offensive award. Let's be honest at this point. The MVP is an offensive award, and it's more of a quarterback award more than anything.
Yeah.
It's going to go to Lamar.
I think it's going to go to Lamar. I don't know if really at this point, like I said, I think Dak should get some love for it, but no, it's going to go to Lamar, and I don't have any problem with it going to Lamar. He had 3,600 yards, 24 passing touchdowns, and I'm trying to see if I can find his rushing stats. Hold on, let me see if I can find my rushing stats. Well, go ahead and talk about some more about Lamar.
I mean, Lamar is a dog. I mean, his wide receivers haven't been the best over the years. I think this is the best wide receiving core he has had in a while, if I think the best in his career. And he's got good running backs. Yeah. That's just how it is. And this Ravens offense loves to run the ball and then get you out of position to throw the ball.
Okay, he also had 821 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns, which is kind of insane.
It is. It very much is.
That puts him. Let's see if I can what, 8. So he had 29 total touchdowns and probably 4,500 total yards, something like that. 4,600 total. I have no problem with him winning MVP. Really, if honestly, if it's not going to be Dak, I'm fine with it being Lamar Jackson.
No, I think top 3: Lamar, CMC, and Dak.
I can get jiggy with that. Josh Allen's been getting some random love all of a sudden, and I don't say random love because he's always getting love. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But he consistently, I'm talking about consistently every year, is just turning the ball over all the time.
Yeah, I find it funny how the narrative on Dak was, oh, he turns the ball over so much after 1 year?
After 1 year of him.
1 year he did it, but when Josh Allen is constantly turning the ball over, but yet everyone is still fanboying and loving over him. He's a good quarterback, don't get me wrong, but I get tired of seeing people glaze this man so much, but then I'm not a Cowboys fan, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't like the Cowboys, but I'm gonna give Dak his props. He's been playing phenomenal.
And Dak was all pro this year, all pro second team.
Yeah. And to see people glaze Allen like this is preposterous. I don't think he should be up for MVP. I really don't. People are going to swing him in there anyways. I just don't see it. I really don't. But then again, that could be recency bias for me because they beat us in the playoffs. But
see, look, okay, like I said, I think Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback in this league. I think he is the problem with Josh Allen is I think a lot of his interceptions come from the idea of him playing hero ball. And, sometimes as a quarterback, you have to, right? I think there's different levels to some interceptions. You have interceptions that are deemed not turnover-worthy interceptions, where we've all seen it. You throw a ball, it hits a receiver in the hands, and it bounces off his hands and gets picked off. It's things like that are going to happen, right? You can't put that on the quarterback. Also, I'm fully under the belief of if it's 3rd and long and you're throwing a deep shot down the field and it gets picked off, I don't count it the same. That's one of those. It's an arm punt. Oh well, it happens. I think the problem with Josh Allen is sometimes he throws bad ball. He just throws bad passes. I've seen him throwing a double, triple coverage consistently because I guess he's trusting his receivers. He has Stephon Diggs, but it's he's an athletic guy. He needs to use his legs to get to first down. I don't know, and I think he falls into the hero ball category. He falls into that mindset way too often.
I can't argue with you. I really can't. Like I said, you could say it's recency bias. You could say it's this. You could say it's that. He's a good quarterback, top 10, top 5 in the league. It's just the constant of everyone just saying, "Oh, he's the best. He's the best. He's one of the you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
Understand he's one of the best, but I don't think he's up for MVP this year.
I think Lamar's having an MVP season. He's going to win MVP. And then the people are going to disagree with this because of Lamar winning MVP this year. I still think right now in the NFL, you have Patrick Mahomes, and then you have everybody else. I think Patrick Mahomes is still in that tier of his own because, you're looking at Josh Allen, looking at Lamar Jackson. Again, but like I said, Lamar Jackson is the guy I think closest to fighting into that category with Patrick Mahomes.
Don't forget Brock Purdy within 49ers fans.
Of course, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, I can't even shit on Brock Purdy. That I really can't. He does what he needs to do, and you really can't fault him for that. He has such a good team. He's all right, just go out there and don't lose a game, and he does that very, very well.
Dare say from the homeboy Cam Newton, he's a game manager. Maybe, just maybe.
I think he's a game manager, but I don't think, in my eyes, right? And Cam Newton obviously probably has different opinions, right? But in my eyes, calling Brock Purdy a game manager isn't a bad. I don't take it as a bad, I don't take it as a shot at him, right? Because we've seen game managers win Super Bowls, a few of them. I think there's no reason for Brock Purdy to be anything besides a game manager.
And we've also seen worse quarterbacks win it. Look at the Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm not Joe Flacco. Before that, I forget Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'd take Brock Purdy over him. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and I think Brock Purdy's better than Jimmy Garoppolo was for the 49ers. I think
Yeah, yeah,
I know obviously people 49er fans are going to want to say like, oh no, Purdy's the best quarterback in the NFL, and if you whatever, if you believe that, whatever, I'm not going to argue with you. But I personally don't think being called a game manager when you're in. He's played 2 seasons, and he's been to the NFC Championship game both times. Hell, okay, maybe I'm a game manager, but I'm a damn good one at that.
yeah.
He's had some games where he's looked rough, but every quarterback does. And I don't know. I think people are so quick to take game manager in a negative way and be like, oh, but he's winning games. There's no way he's a game manager. No, I think that's exactly what he is, and it's perfect for him, and it's perfect for that team. Why would I want, if I have such a stacked offensive roster that the 49ers have, why would I want a guy like Josh Allen that's going to heave the ball down the field and potentially consistently turn it over when I have a guy like Brock Purdy that can get the ball to Kittle, he can get the ball to Deebo Samuel, he can get the ball to Brent Ayuk, he can get the ball to Christian McCaffrey. He can get the ball and let them do. They're like the top players. Let them get the ball and let them make plays. And it's like, I don't know. I think for some reason 49ers fans like to take that to heart as a negative when I think it's the truth that he's a game manager, and I think that's perfect for him and the 49ers.
Oh yeah, especially when they have a defense like they do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
Like with the offensive weapons and the defense that they do, they don't need a sling the ball, grip it and rip it
Yep.
type of quarterback. They don't need that. They just need someone that's going to go out there, not turn the ball over, basically do things to not lose them the game. That's what they needed him to do, and that's what he has been doing. So I cannot fault him. And like you said, I think the game manager stereotype for a quarterback, I feel like everyone is just like, oh, I can't believe you said that. He's not this, he's not that. I don't think the game manager has a negative connotation, in my opinion, because it's saying, yeah, he's a good quarterback, but he doesn't overdo himself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I think obviously Cam Newton meant it in a negative way, but I don't think that, like I said, Cam Newton saying it in a negative way is definitely something you could be upset about, but I don't think the label of game manager should be upset about.
Oh yeah. The one last thing about this whole deal, I find it funny how the media, people on these analysts in the NFL and in all sports, have a terrible take about a person, but they never receive backlash. But then a former MVP has a take on somebody, and and everyone just goes after him for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just figure if you're gonna go after one guy, you go after everybody. You know,
Yeah.
it just I don't know. It's just then again, it is how it social media is nowadays. If you're not within that organization, you're subject to a whole lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, sorry. I was tripping over the Wizards Pistons game. The Wizards beat the Pistons. Damn. Yeah, no, I agree. I think for Cam Newton got like a lot of backlash just out of nowhere for that. And I mean, of course he was going to get backlash because he triggered some top fan bases in the NFL. He called Brock Purdy a game manager, who obviously the 49er faithful are huge. He called Dak Prescott a game manager, and the Cowboys Nation is huge. And I think it was Tua. I think Tua was the other one.
Yeah.
The Dolphins fans have had like he took some of the top biggest fan bases in the NFL and called out their quarterbacks. So he was kind of putting himself under fire for that one.
Yeah, and totally understandable and everything, but when somebody on like ESPN or CBS or just somebody out there that has one of these takes that is just out there or terrible, they should have the same thing happen to them what happened to Cam Newton. This should not be something to where it's only people outside of the sports networks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like honestly, terrible takes happen. They do. It happens every year. They could have a terrible draft take. They could have a terrible this take, whatever the case may be. But either give them the entire bad, I shouldn't say bad, but like go after them or don't go after them at all. You
I
know what
agree.
mean? Don't pick and choose who you want to go after just because of where they're at or what organization they're a part of or anything like that. If you're going to go after one, go after all.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that was our NFL honors. That was our championship game predictions. Anything else you really want to hit on?
No, not really. Just Brock Purdy. Watch out for Cam Sutton on Sunday.
Well, before we get out of here, we have the timeout moment of the week, baby. All right. And honestly, like for me, the moment is kind of a couple of different things here. I'm going to sum it up as the NBA scoring surge that we've had. We had 2 70-point games, 2 60-point games, a couple of 30-point triple doubles, 40-point games. Honestly, it was just fun to watch the NBA this week. People were it was generational scoring. We've now had 4 70-point games in the past year, so that's pretty dope. But yeah, no, that's mine. Just the amount of scoring we had this week in the NBA.
Oh yeah, mine is the same thing. I mean, you cannot have a scoring surge like this. How many points we've scored? I think we've had 4 60-plus point games and like 6 40-plus point games in the past week.
Yeah, it's been insane.
That is just insane.
And 2 of them resulted in losses.
Yeah.
Crazy. Just crazy.
It is. It very much is.
But yeah, just want to shout out to Embiid, Luka, Devin Booker, Cat, all them guys. Even if you lose, putting up 60-plus points, 70-plus points is obviously not easy. So, and it's always, especially, I mean, we had 2 big men put up 60-plus points, one put 70-plus. Like that's kind of crazy to look at in today's NBA.
I think the last time a big man scored 70 was David Robinson.
I was gonna say it probably was, yeah. Was it David Robinson or was it? Let me.
Well, right now it's Embiid, but before
obviously.
that, I think it was Robinson. I know Wilt had multiple 70-plus point games, and obviously he had the 100-point game. But I think it was right. David Robinson, the Admiral, was the last center to get 70.
He had 71.
Which is absurd.
All right. Well, I don't think I have anything left. How about you?
Nah, that's about it.
Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another Saturday episode of Timeout with J and G. Follow us on Twitter, the same name. Keep you guys updated on some sports stuff and any changes in the podcast they happen. We're hoping within the next week, either on Wednesday or Saturday, we have Cole joining us. He was supposed to today, had some other stuff going on, then he couldn't make it all of a sudden. It's all good. Like I said, we'll have him here maybe Wednesday, maybe Saturday. I'll let you guys know. Any closing remarks you got?
This is going to be a fun Sunday for NFL football. I'm excited. Hope Dan Campbell and the Lions get to the Super Bowl.
Well, shout out to them. First Super Bowl in NFL. Well, they'll be going to their first Super Bowl in NFL history. They only had like 2 playoff wins within the past like 30 years before this playoff run. So it turned from nothing to everything for them. So
especially when they went 0-16.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that means in a couple of years the Browns are going to be in the Super Bowl because they won 0-16 0-16 a few years ago. So I mean, give the Browns a few more years and they'll be in the Super Bowl.
They got to get a good quarterback though.
Yeah, we won't touch on that one. All right. So thank you guys for listening to this episode, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.